Hey guys, welcome back to another Dr. Soybean Let's Play here on the Neon Nightcast channel. And appropriately enough for the Halloween season, I'm going to be playing The Haunting starring Polterguy for the Sega Genesis. And this is a really unique, cool game. I'm probably not going to do a full playthrough, because I'm not too familiar with this game. I just discovered it recently. But I want to at least do the first kind of level, just so you guys can get an idea and see how cool this is. So I'm the poltergeist, and these people can't see me, but the basic premise is you want to haunt them by diving into these different objects and scaring them to the point where they flee the house. So there's the dartboard, and the fun thing about this game is just seeing all of the different cool things that they put in here to scare the people with. Okay. He hasn't fled the room yet. Now you see that green meter going down, that's my ectoplasm, and if that goes all the way down, I'm going to have to go to the dungeon and get more. I was hoping to scare him enough to leave the room, because usually if you scare someone enough to leave the room, you get some ectoplasm. Yes, okay. So I got a little bit back. So I'm going to look at the map and find him. That's Vito. I think he went to the garage. Yes. Let's do the lawnmower and the table saw. Now the table saw, you'll see that is has a red meter. That's some of the objects are actually not run on your ectoplasm, they run on your magic, which is a separate meter. And you actually have a few spells you can cast too, which run on your magic. Here, I'll do one. Oh, that didn't seem to work too well. There we go. Wow, he still didn't flee. Let's get the suit of armor going. Painting? Shit, I'm gonna have to get some ectoplasm soon. Is he fleeing? Vito's gone, alright. And I got a little bit of plasma for that. So again, we avoid going to the dungeon just yet. Alright, let's find somebody else. Okay, looks like the mother Flo is in the kitchen. Cupboard. Some rooms are better than others for scares. She better leave or I'm gonna have to go to the dungeon. That's a weird one. Alright, so I ran out of ectoplasm, so I gotta get it. And this is actually the only part of the game where you can take damage. You see the portrait of me on the bottom left there, those hands reaching out of the wall. They can hurt you and they'll make the portrait shrink. And if the portrait disappears, then that's game over. So the kind of neat thing about this game is that technically you are not a poltergeist, because in paranormal lore, poltergeists are usually thought to not really be deceased spirits at all. Poltergeists are thought to be a form of energy that manifests itself when people, usually children going through puberty or people going through severe emotional trauma, can manifest poltergeist activity, or so the theory goes. So Poltergeist, one of my favorite movies of all time, is also incorrectly named because that's a haunting as a result of spirits, not a poltergeist. Alright. I can leave the dungeon now. So let's continue with the mother. I like to do one person at a time. She's already fleeing the kitchen. Alright. Oh, shooting arrows. So again, I've mentioned on this podcast before that I've read a lot about paranormal and the occult and things like that. I find it very interesting. I don't necessarily believe in everything, but I find it fascinating to read about. The hallway is not a very good place to haunt, I find. There's not a hell of a lot you can do here. Oh, she's already on the move. Alright, we got her. So now we just have the kids left. And by the way, no, the game would not be over after I make the kids flee. They move to another house, and the houses get excessively larger, and there's some other factors that come into play. So again, I don't know, we're not going to play through this entire game. I don't even know if we're going to do the second house, but I at least want to do the first house. So we just got to find the kids. Sometimes the layout of the house can be a little bit confusing, and the map is not the greatest. Looks like they're on the complete opposite side of the house from me. Can I go this way? Yeah. Okay. Alright, let's do the daughter. Notice they made these human characters look as repulsive as possible, I guess so you don't feel too bad about fucking with them. The CD player is a cool one. Turns into a mech. What else can we do in here? Alright, and again I ran out of Ecto, so we gotta go down to the dungeon and get some more. Ectoplasm is another thing that was common in paranormal lore. Not so much these days, but back about 100 years ago when people used to do spirit photography and stuff like that, ectoplasm was something that was said to be secreted by mediums when they were in contact with spirits. And if you Google old, the jumping in this game's kind of annoying. If you Google old photos of ectoplasm, or like ectoplasm medium photos, you'll see all these photos of these black and white photos of mediums with this like white shit foaming out of their nose and mouth. Oh, that was a big one. Actually doing pretty well avoiding the hands this time. Alright, let's get the fuck out of here. Alright, you know what? That feels like a good place for part 1 to stop. I got a full meter, so I'll see you in part 2, and we'll finish driving the kids out of the house.